Hey guys, Rubber Kitty here. Hey, so Thursday, not today, tomorrow is Thursday. Today's Wednesday, hump day. So, a lot of things that are deeply meaningful involve responsibility. So, in a way, I guess that's the thing where things have a lot more meaning if you've sacrificed stuff for. Example, a lot of parents, they've sacrificed a lot to raise kids and love them and all that, and that's deeply meaningful. It's not just, I decided to have kids and I put them in childcare just every day. I'm not going to take any responsibility for their behaviour or raising them or bringing them up to be good people, or even having a pet. That's the responsibility. And a lot of people, they take their responsibilities for their pets very seriously, and for them that's a deeply meaningful relationship. Now, that's the thing. For things to be deeply meaningful, for me and for quite a few people, if you just get given something and you've not had to really work for it, I've noticed that a lot of people don't really appreciate it so much. Or if they've not been through hard times and they've been given something, they don't appreciate it that much. So if you've, lost a lot of money, had really bad relationships and breakups and all that sort of stuff, do you actually really appreciate your new relationships? Do you appreciate the fact that you still have a really good job that can see you through and help you get by? And how meaningful is that to you? And I guess there's a lot of people who spend a lot of time, they think that they sacrifice a lot to get what they want, but I look at some and I think, have you really, or have you just tried to scam things out or try to do it too easy? I mean, there's such thing as efficiency and making things easier on yourself and not too hard on yourself. But then there's palming off that responsibility onto other people, not accepting your responsibility for things. And that comes into, I guess, the thing that I keep saying, that if it's not partly your fault, or you don't take responsibility for your part in whatever goes on, whether it's because you were complacent, whether it was because you were too enthusiastic, whether you just didn't want to know, or whether you wanted to know too much and pushed it too far. If you don't take responsibility, then you're not owning your own actions, and you can't change your mindset or your actions or views or whatever it is in order to make a real change in your situation, whatever you're doing, your thoughts and families, relationships, and whatever it is. I mean, if you're just absolving yourself out of all responsibility, blaming somebody else for it, saying, oh well, here it is, you do that and it's all your fault now, nothing's going to change. And then I've got to wonder, how worthwhile, how much stock did you put into that particular meaningful thing, like relationship, feeling, project, whatever it is, how much meaning is there in it for you? Granted, some things will change. You might start off with something that's really meaningful, and as you grow and evolve, things change. Then you need to take responsibility for the fact that, okay, you no longer feel that way. So what are you going to do? You're going to keep going on with something that you're not really passionate about, that you're not feeling for? Or you're going to say, okay, look, it had its time. I still feel that it has meaning, but not as much as it once did. And that can be very hard for people, because then they feel the need to blame other people, to find a reason why it didn't work. I mean, because it didn't work, or it's lost as much meaning, or it's not as meaningful as it once was, doesn't mean that you're wrong or something happened that was bad. Sometimes it just, a lot of people, they they in relationships and all that, and I don't talk about relationships, but projects and everything, things will change and evolve. So parameters have to be reset, and you have to be realistic on that, because trying to force, a round peg into a square hole, unless you kind of trim it down so it does actually fit, is kind of futile and kind of pointless. Well, in my point of view, unless you're, into quantum physics or something like that, which I am, in whatever time I have. But anyways, to have meaning, like to take responsibility, is to create also more meaning for it. It doesn't mean that you should take on too much. There's that whole balance thing again. Don't take on too much. By all means, delegate some things, but also take responsibility for the fact that you delegated. Don't just say, oh, well, I gave it to them, they're responsible, whatever. That's the thing. I also like to listen to, is it Simon Sinek, where he says, like, being a leader is not easy. Or is it Jordan Peterson? Anyway, being a leader is not easy, because what you're doing is you're creating an environment for people to flourish. And initially, even though you're the one who's helping to organise and leading these people, most of the time you're the one where the buck stops, but you're not the only one that's going to get all the gratitude and the benefits. That's also the people, that was more so the people that work for you, the team and the individual people that are put in the effort. You promote them, congratulate them, they reap a lot of the rewards, and a lot of times you take the blame for anything that goes wrong. But there also needs to be a balance. Because ultimately they do take responsibility. There needs to be a balance, though, between the whole carrot and stick thing and different people with different motivations. But anyway, segueing again. Stream of consciousness is really bizarre. Have a look at things, I guess, and think about the things that you're responsible for. What does it mean to you? Is it really meaningful, and how deeply meaningful is it to you? And these are things in everyday life, like, your pets. You take responsibility for your pets. They rely on you, and they love you, and that's a deeply meaningful relationship. Not just that, projects that you have. You have good projects, things you need to chase up, things that are like, art, things that you enjoy, hobbies. You take responsibility for pursuing your hobbies, and that's deeply meaningful to you. It doesn't have to be a person, it doesn't have to be a pet, it can be a thing, a cause or something. It's always good to check in with yourself. Anyways, deeply meaningful and responsibility. How responsible are you for what is meaningful in your life? Weigh up how much responsibility you have versus how meaningful it is. See what you come up with. I'm curious to know. So, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.